If it seems too good to be true, it probably is. But there's a never, ever, ever, ever ending supply of companies that are brand new in business and they don't know how to price. They don't know how to set financial barriers that will keep them in a good position. This happens in all different businesses that you can think of out there. Obviously, for me, I think of real estate, I think of construction, I think of conversations I've had with my brother in the landscaping space, and this is something that I think everyone should think about for a few minutes. I just had a friend who had some work done on his house last fall, and he called me several times saying after they started the project, they started strong, and then they weren't showing up, and then they weren't completing the project, and then materials weren't getting delivered, and things fell off. And after about the 5th call, I said to this friend, let me guess, you hired the contractor who gave you the lowest price. And this friend said, how did you know? I said, tell me the prices. And I'm going to tell you all fake prices so that no one connects the story. $80,000, $75,000, $50,000. And I hired the person at $50,000. I said, what would make you think that the one at $50,000 could do the same exact job as the one at $75,000 or $80,000? That's not possible. That's not feasible. And now you're surprised that you're running into trouble. Well, in the end, this friend had to hire another contractor, have them out. They had to complete the work. The same kind of thing happens in the real estate space all the time. There's a never, ever-ending supply of agents who turn into brokers. They get into the brokerage business. They start a brokerage and they set their splits and their fees and their financial aspects of their company at unrealistic numbers. Now, some of that is done for normal capitalism and competitive reasons for an initial phase to get people in. That's normal. Walmart does it. Walmart goes into new markets, lowers their prices extremely low. They call it dumping. They basically drowned all the competitors in the market, and then within a year or two, they raise their prices. Well, that's harder to do in the brokerage space. We all know that because no matter where an agent is, there is always another place they can go for a higher split, better split, higher split, better split. So when you're an agent and you're evaluating companies, you have to think to yourself, does it make sense for me to go to this company? Does the financial arrangement, the financial offering that they are giving me, does it make sense? Is it sustainable? Is it long-term? You don't want to be one of these agents that goes to a company and things change within a year or two and they happen in an abrupt manner because the owner is under significant pressure. That doesn't help your business. Or maybe one of these agents that's been at a company that goes bankrupt or loses deposits or spends their escrow account or some of these crazy things that have happened. You don't want to take part in that. And for those that that's happened to, you can relate and you can remember how difficult that was. When I talk to my brother, he tells me stories of when he goes out and he prices to do someone's front walkway. And he tells them, oh, it's $7,800. They say, sorry, Joe, I'm going to go with this guy who told me that they can do the job for $4,800, $3,000 cheaper. Now, what that homeowner should be thinking about is, I want to make sure I'm comparing apples to apples, right? Not apples to oranges. But not everyone thinks that way. People often go to the lowest price because they think they're going to nickel and dime and cheap their way to being rich. Wealthy people, successful people, they don't get there from being cheap. They don't get there from nickel and diming. They get there by making investments, by investing money, by investing in themselves, taking risks, right? Investing in things that are better. I can remember years ago, 12 years ago, we bought a CRM. We looked at all different customer relationship management systems, and in the end, I went with the most expensive one. It allowed me to customize, it had the best reputation, but it was expensive, and that's what we decided to go with. So please keep this in mind in your business moving forward. Are you doing business with companies that actually can sustain what they're doing and actually can be a good company to be with? You have to ask yourself that. And if you are getting offered some kind of special deal or something unusual out of the ordinary, you should ask, hey, are you doing this just to get me in and then you're going to change it later? Well, if they answer honestly and they say yes, good for them for being honest, and now you're more aware when you're going into it. I hope that makes sense. I hope everyone thinks about that. The old saying, you get what you pay for, is true in most cases. Good luck. Happy home selling.